And then there the justice, in fair round belly of good companion lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. I sat ramrod behind my desk, sleep pulled instantly at my eyelids as I had long precise at the seeming attentive while my mind wandered. The pony before me dashed off sketch after sketch of album, shooting at what I assumed were platitudes at me to keep me motivated. Beyond him, I could see one of my aides checking her clipboard. A sigh bubbled up inside me. Their grandparents had fought beside me in war. Their grandparents had bowed before me as a goddess incarnate, and these ponies organized my day to include feelings for 'em and lessons on how to smize. Gorgeous, Your Highness. Just raise your chin a little, and magnificent. Oh, you have such an equine nose, Your Grace. I wasn't even sure what that meant. I prayed for the interminable torture to just end it already. Though what followed, it would probably be just as relentlessly dull. Yeah, and I think, yes, that's good enough. The sketch artist beamed at me and began to gather up his things. I propose one, maybe two more settings of line work and coloring matching, but this should be enough for me to work on your window for now. My sincere gratitude, Mr. Mirrorshine. I nodded my head in an expectant manner and took my leave. Stained glass windows and commemorat Equestria's past had seemed to be such a good idea at the time. For some reason, however, the fact that I would have to be featured in at least one had slipped my mind. Still, at least this would go on some way to evoking the kind of story I was trying to cultivate about the legend of the Nightmare Moon. History was as malleable as fresh dough if you know how to knead it properly. Your Majesty, I halted in my tracks. I almost had made it to self-relief of solitude. Almost. I turned to regard the heaviest set while the white stallion advancing on me, as if this was his castle and I the subject, being graced with his applaudiments. His beard, though neatly trimmed, seemed to all be standing on the end of the angry cat. Your Majesty. I squinted at him for a moment. Headmaster Silverfoot. To what do I owe the pleasure? The stallion bristled at me through his carefully confident mustache and beard. Your Majesty, he said again, I must speak with you. Is that not what we're doing now? His bristles subsided as he processed my words. Yes, well, I must speak with you in regards to one of our students. Oh dear, I take it from your tone that you're not here to regale me with the tales of stellar test scores and beautifully written essays. Indeed not, Your Majesty, Headmaster Silverfoot huffed. I require your presence at the school immediately. I blinked at him. I had been more of a figurehead at the school than I had intended when it first opened, but royal duties precluded anything else. I worded a little at my youthful enthusiasm to run on both the country and an educational establishment on my own. To be summoned a person that meant anything serious was afoot. What has happened, Headmaster? I asked, keeping my tone calm. One of the students, Your Majesty, has, Headmaster Silverfoot shut his eyes, as though counting to 10. He has defaced a portrait in the main hall. Defaced it? How? The portrait is covered in warding spells, isn't it? And if I recall correctly, one or two protection enchantments and a keep clean lodestone, yes? Exactly, Your Majesty. I stared at him for as long as it was appropriate. Then I pushed it down with a sigh. Lead on, Headmaster. I was escorted to his office, this, where, where, where a tiny brown colt sat defiantly in what looked to be a very uncomfortable chair. He turned, and when the door opened, and a look of rebellious look on his face that melted into fear when he saw me. "Purple Pumpkin," blustered Headmaster Silverfoot. "You were warned that if this sort of thing happened again, you would face the dearest of consequences. Well, now you faced them." He seemed almost proud of this single student that had driven him to call upon the leader of the whole country. I studied the colt for a moment over Headmaster Silverfoot's head. He was small, one might even say runty, and what appeared to be the first purely brown coat now revealed itself to be a patchwork of various shades of splashed across him from the artist who was running out of paint. A large splotch of brown so dark that it almost black covered some of his eyes, making the gold irises appear almost luminous in his face. By contrast, his nose was so pale to be almost white. I watched it twitch, recognizing some ponies struggling very hard not to wrinkle their snout in disgust. "Headmaster Silverfoot, hmm?" Evidently I had cut him off. "Would you please leave us for a moment?" Yes, of course. I'll be right outside, Your Majesty." "Could you please go and check on the damage and make to a report to Treasury? I am sure the royal coffers can stand to restore whatever harm was done." "Yes, right away, Your Majesty." He doubtfully trotted off. I listened to his steps retreat down from the corridor. It was several minutes before either one of us spoke. "Are you here to make an example out of me?" I had been expecting a childish voice, but what emerged from the tiny colt was the voice of some pony of the very cusp of adulthood. "An example out of you? Like string me up on some the schoolyard example to others or something, as 'twere? Does that sound like something I would do?" "No." He paused before continuing. "I've heard stories from my grandfather, though. So have I. How about you being a warrior princess and all that?" "So I wasn't sure. I mean, a princess can't just give up a detention like a regular teacher is, 'twere. Wherever not. Though I should think of punishment that comes after finding out what crimes have been committed. I hear you defaced a painting." He winced. "I didn't mean to. I am more interested in how you did it." I waved a hoof. "I was never fond of that portrait anyway. I was practically in a bad mood when I sat there for the artist, and have my ways felt it at the he communicated, though, that a little too well for his work. The first thing a young pony sees upon entering their new school should be a welcoming sight, not a scowling alicorn whose bottom hurts from sitting on the throne with a fair thin cushion and listening to ponies talk at her all day. The colt before me adopted the expression of one who had just seen the entire river get up and dance. "So to that matter, back to the question at hoof. How did you manage to damage that awful thing?" He swallowed. "A solution of magnetism. Eye bright, lung wart, dragon tears, water from a puddle of touch by the moon on the first night of the month, and fanged jackdaw venom. It was my turn to widen my eyes in surprise. "What on earth are you making with ingredients like those?" He muttered something inaudible. "Excuse me?" "I was trying to invent an elixir to make myself taller, Your Majesty." "An elixir?" He nodded. "Spells and enchantments are all temporarily. They wear off in a maximum of 2 weeks. Give it an hour, 2 hours or so. And as scarlet gems put into jewelry last longer, but they're just glamour. You're not actually any taller under the illusion, so ponies are always talking to a sport 2 feet away above your head, where they think your eyes and you still can't reach anything on high shelves. So you were trying to invent an elixir to hold a spell in place permanently?" "Yes, but it didn't go right. No, it didn't. I must have used too much of jackdaw venom because when Chisel accidentally knocked into me, I fell and my head went flying." He made the air quotes with his hooves and mimicked the trajectory of his potion vial. "It landed on the painting, kind of melted right through it." "And through the magic laid upon it?" I added. "Do Do I have to pay for the damage? His hind hooves shuffled further underneath him. The action was not a conscious one. He was making himself even smaller, as if trying to be harder target to hit. I'm not sure my family can afford. That won't be necessary. I sat down on the floor. It seemed to flummox him. It makes a very powerful magic to break the kind of magic that wasn't on the portrait. Purple pumpkin, was it? Yes, your majesty. Technically it's just pumpkin, but my dad says I'm unusual and useful as a purple pumpkin and a briar patch, just in the name kind of stuck as in twere. Ah, I nodded. I would be interested to know how you came up with such a connection. It just as it seemed. Logical, your majesty. Logical? Yes, your majesty. You're an earth pony, purple pumpkin. He looked down at his hooves, as if checking if they were still there. Yes, your majesty. How long have you been a student here? About a year, your majesty. I am here on a scholarship. So am I. Just a year, and he's already making potions strong enough to break magic laid by unicorns thrice his age. I carefully schooled my face to show more of my surprise. Where are you from originally? Hoofington, your majesty. A purely earth pony settlement for several dozens generations. How are you finding Canterlot so far? Purple Pumpkin's snout tried to make wrinkle again, though he did a commendable job stopping it. It's all right, your majesty. Just all right? It's very fancy. I prefer the stuff plain to a swir. I nodded. Is that what you prefer potions of other forms of magical steady? Yes, your majesty. But how did you... Only some pony very adept potions could come up with the brew you described. Oh, he said a little dejected. After a little while, he added, Oh, you must be very talented to have gained a scholarship here. Truth be told, your majesty, I would have been just as happy staying home. But my parents were keen on me coming here after my teacher sent a letter to the scholarship board. So did he. They came out and tested me, and every pony was so happy that I was something. Special, I guess. I swear. Your guess? Life was simpler back at home, so it was. He admitted it softly. Canterlot is nice, and I loved learning all of this new stuff. But the things are more complicated here, so are back home. If someone disrespects you, you knock them down and you punch out your differences. When you get up, shake hooves and go about your business. So you do here it's all. There is that wrinkle again. Politics and stuff. My dad warned me about politics. He said they all happen all the time in the big cities, so they can do. I decided I do not care much for the politics. If you will beg my pardon, 'twas there, your majesty. I fought the urge to laugh as he tripped over his words. To be perfectly frank with you, Purple Pumpkin, I do not care much about them myself. Alas, into every life and little rain must fall. Tell me, are the potions are the only thing you have to show an aptitude for? I don't take any of the Pegasus electives, if that's what you're asking, your majesty. I'm good at potions and eyelines work, and basically the kind of magic that is more practical. Miss Hoofsky was explaining the space-time continuum forum to us in class yesterday, and it fair made my head spin, and so did it. But you put me in a bunch of potion ingredients, or give me some chalk and a stone circle, and write at home. So am I. Indeed, I surveyed him. I think I shall have keep a special eye on you, Purple Pumpkin. A special eye, your majesty? He looked scared. Not in a bad way. You have something special about you. I believe you may be destined for great things. Begging your pardon, your majesty, but I'm not perfect agreement with that statement, as 'twere I am simply a country pony. Simple country ponies like me don't get destined for great things. That's just not how it's done. Unicorns get done great big things, gilded destinies, maybe even Pegasi, but not earth ponies. Our destinies are all field and fetlocks, and so they are. Never say never, Purple Pumpkin. All things must have existed forever to need to start somewhere. I I guess that makes sense. He scrubbed at his mane. You'd know better than me of that sort of thing, so you would, but I still think I disagree. We shall see, I smiled. For now, I shall talk to the headmaster and tell him that you have been thoroughly chastised and will never do anything like this again. You will? Will you do it again? I won't break any more paintings, if that's what you mean, he paused. I am not intentionally, didn't actually mean to break this one either, truth be told. Yes, I recalled the air quotes. Purple pumpkin, how would you feel about an extra tuition? Excuse me, your majesty? Extra potion lessons. Maybe enchantments and gem magic as well, if there's time. That sounds grand, your majesty. His little eyes shone. With who? The shine dimmed a little. Headmaster Fleetfoot? No, with me. He boggled at me. With you? Would you object to that? No, no, your majesty. As twere, I mean, 'tis do you want to teach me? I think you could benefit from a few new lessons from beyond what you're learning in a regular classes to prevent any more experimentations going awry. If anything else, you could try higher magics in a controlled environment with some pony who can undo the untoward that may happen. I winked at him. He swallowed. That sounds amazing, your majesty. Good. I stood and flexed my wings a little, resetting my feathers. I shall make the necessary arrangements, and you will be issued a new class schedule within the next few days. Until then, you are to return to your classes and do your best. Are we clear? Yes, yes, your majesty. He actually cocked a little salute at me before scurrying from the room. I sighed before departing myself. In truth, the offer to tutor him had passed my lips without no real forethought. Rash decisions often led to disaster, and I was already so busy, yet I could not bring myself to regret the action. There was something to that little colt, a spark that I have not seen to in a long time. A spark. Something warmed around the room in the bottom of my mind. I pushed it away hurriedly and got to my feet. There was work to be done.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.